Hello everyone, my name is Dhruv. I am an intern at LEXIS and Company, and today we will be discussing common intention as well as common object, which are section 34 and section 149 under CPC. So these both are to be discussed together because they are interconnected and somehow related also. So starting with the video today, now as I just mentioned that section 34 and 149 is common intention and common object, and these represents the rule of constructive liability. Now which further means that an individual is responsible for the repercussions of another person's amendment, but section 34 and 149 should never be mixed around each other. They are related, they are talked at a same platform, but they are different. Now as we can see that in section 34 in section 34 and section 149, the law of common intention is no manner synonymous, and it has distinguishable characteristics. As we all know that chapter 8 of the Indian Penal Code relates from this section, and which is under offences against public tranquility. Now offences against public peace is also known, or group offences lead to peace disturbance. In here section 141 defines unlawful assembly, which is anything 5 or more persons should be present and the object should be prevalent to all. So starting with the unlawful objects, it is always considered a common intention if the people have common intention of doing a crime, and when they are using a common object such as it can be a knife, it can be a gun or whatever, it will be considered as common object. So starting with these in detail, section 34 offers a notion of joint liability, now which is present in both civil and criminal cases. It addresses always a scenario where an offense involves a specific criminal intention or understanding which is committed by a multiple persons. Common intention will never be applied in a crime which is done by a single person. It always require multiple persons. Now each of those who join the act with such understanding or purpose shall be responsible in the same manner as if that intention or understanding was accomplished by him alone. Now the common purpose or common object, which is defined under section 34, it says that when various people commit a criminal act in support of the common intention of all, each of those persons shall be liable for that act with the same manner if it was done by him alone. Now it doesn't matter that you were 10% involved, 20% involved. Once you are involved, you are 100% liable to it, which is done by all. Now common intent applies a scheme which says that that has been prearranged. On the contrary, section 149 of the Indian Penal Code, it refers that the act committed by any member of an unlawful assembly is prosecuting the assembly's common object. So this was a brief introduction. Now we would be dealing with section 34 only, which says that acts done by several persons in furtherance of a common intention, and this it can be defined as that this section, if two or more people commit an offense and with the intent of committing that offense, then each of them will be liable for the act as if the act was done by them individually. Now this can be get understood with a very famous case law, which is Barendra Kumar Ghosh versus King's Emperor case. All of you must have heard this case, so let's revise it one more time. And in this case, this case was one of the earliest instances in which another individual was sentenced by the tribunal for the act of another in support of the common intention. Now the facts of these cases are that on August 3 of 1923, a group of armed people entered a police station. They asked the postmaster for the cash, where he counted the cash, and they shot the postmaster with their pistol, causing the postmaster to die on the spot. Now without taking the cash, all the accused ran away. The police were able to capture as a guard Barendra Kumar Ghosh, who stood outside the post office, and Barendra contended that he was merely standing as a guard, but the court convicted him for murder under section 302 and under the section 34 of IPC, which was common intention. Now after that his appeal was rejected when he appealed to Privy Council. So in this case he was just standing there and he got involved. This was a very famous landmark case. Now what is the objective behind section 34? So it is designed to deal with the situation in which it might be hard to differentiate between the criminal acts of the party members acting in a favor of a common intention for all, as one can take stand for himself that he didn't do it, or he was not fully present, he was partially present. There can be many arguments formed. So to avoid these number of arguments and to save time, section 34 was designed in such a way. Now the reason why all are found guilty in such instances is that an accomplice's existence provides encouragement to every person who is engaged in the commission of a criminal offense and is held liable by virtue of his involvement in the act performed, even if the specific act was in question or was not performed by the either member of the group. So this is the objective behind the common intention thing. Now we can now discussing about section 149, which is common object under IPC, and it says that every member of an unlawful assembly guilty of offence committed in prosecution of a common object. So this section is easily understandable, it's nothing new or nothing difficult. It says that where an offence is committed by any of the members of an unlawful assembly in the prosecution of the common purpose of that assembly, or has the members of that assembly knew that this offence which they are committing in the prosecution of that purpose, any person who is a member of the same assembly at the time of commission of that offence would be guilty for that offence. Now in this can also be understood by a famous case, which is Bhudev Mandal versus the state of Bihar. So in this case the apex court ruled that the proof must obviously establish not only the common object but also to demonstrate that the common object was illegitimate before convicting any individual with the help of section 149, as no one should get easily or no one should get wrongly confined under this. So this was all about the common intention and the common object as we discussed in brief, and let's keep this video here only. Thank you.